afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. When it comes to labor and agriculture, Vermont is a lot like many other states. We rely heavily on workers from countries like Jamaica, Mexico, and Guatemala. These people do the labor-intensive work of agriculture, from milking cows to harvesting apples. But something as simple as making a doctor's appointment can be nearly impossible for many migrant farm workers. They face language barriers, cost concerns, and lack of transportation. Back in 2012, UVM Extension helped form the Bridges to Health program. The program increased access to health care services for migrant dairy workers in targeted regions of Vermont. This past year, Bridges to Health expanded its scope to increase access to care statewide for migrants working in all sectors of agriculture. Across the Fence intern and UVM senior Rahana Pathwala has been learning about the Bridges to Health program and tells us more in this report.
Dairy farming in Vermont is big business. The annual sale of dairy products, from milk and cheese to butter and yogurt, adds up to $1.3 billion according to the Vermont Dairy Promotion Council. Dairy farming is also a labor-intensive business. Workers need to milk the cows, plant the crops, and manage the manure. In Vermont, there are an estimated 1,200 migrant workers. Reyes and Lupita Garcia emigrated from Mexico. They are now permanent residents in Vermont and work on a dairy farm in Franklin County.
I like it here on the one hand because it's quieter. The seasons are very different, which is very nice. And I think it has a support system that is better than other states in the country. On the other hand, what I don't like, I was in Mexico my whole life, and over there it's very hot. And here the winter is extremely cold. But aside from that, I really like everything.
I was for a while in Mexico working in a factory of frozen food, and I was working every day in a 30 below environment, so the cold doesn't really faze me. At the beginning, it was a little bit like I didn't know much. I drifted a lot because it was a lot of English. I didn't have anyone to talk to that will talk to me, that I could understand. And as it went along, I got more familiar with the job. And right now, work is very quiet for me. All the Americans are very nice to me. When I had an incident with my finger, they were very worried about me. They were all like, "What happened to you?" And they are very good people.
They like Vermont and their jobs, but the Garcias face many challenges when it comes to health care, from access to transportation to the key difficulty of language.
To go to a doctor, we need you or someone who can help us get an appointment. And if we can get there, we need someone there or on the phone or someone to interpret.
Even when a translator is available, two-way communication is difficult.
Sometimes when we go for a short visit, you don't have or need an interpreter. But when you are going to explain what hurts, not just do a checkup, we need an interpreter because it's difficult for us to explain. And it's also difficult for them to understand us.
They don't understand the language we are speaking. The Spanish, we speak it in a certain way. We know a word that means something, and it means something else to other people. And that's where they interpret the word differently.
We are not a very diverse state, one of the least diverse states actually in the nation. And
Naomi Wolcott-MacCausland heads UVM Extension's Bridges to Health program.
Bridges Health is a health access program for migrant farm workers here in Vermont, and we work together with UVM Extension, the Open Door Clinic, and the Bi-State Primary Care Association as a three-member consortium to do that. The goal of Bridges to Health is to increase health access for migrant farm workers here in the state, and we do that through two different main strategies. One is providing care coordination for migrant farm workers who have health needs where they want to access healthcare services but might need some support to do so. And then we also work with health clinics to increase their ability to provide care to a non-English speaking population with possibly some different cultural health beliefs. We don't provide the healthcare services. We just make sure that all of the pieces kind of come together. Without the care coordination that we do, I would say that there are enough farm owners and farm workers in some areas of the state that are aware of services, but it may not provide the quality of healthcare services or the important follow-through that's necessary.
What are some successes?
I would say one success is that farm workers in the state now are able to access care more locally. 5 years ago or so, we would hear of stories, farm workers who are sick or injured traveling outside of their county to access care, and now we're seeing that they're able to access care within their local communities. Another, I would say, success is community involvement. We depend quite a lot on community volunteers who support transportation and health access.
Bridges to Health is supported by a number of volunteers and partner organizations. It is a group effort that is necessary to deal with the issues of access, transportation, and communication. We spoke by phone with a Franklin County farmer who underscored the collaborative nature of the Bridges to Health program.
Bridges to Health has been instrumental in our usage in that they provide the language translation service at the doctor's office. We, the employer, makes the arrangements, and we try to arrange for the driving. But the Bridges to Health has been fantastic in getting the language barrier broken down with translation at the doctors and able to explain to the worker just what's needed.
Bridges to Health also utilizes UVM medical and nursing students.
Healthy Fields is the student side of things in terms of Bridges to Health.
Alejandro Velez is a third-year UVM medical student and one of the leaders of the Healthy Fields program.
And our main mission is to bring healthcare information to the farm workers themselves, as well as maybe some directive and guidance in terms of healthcare access and healthcare information that they can use to be empowered to make better and independent decisions.
Velez describes how Healthy Fields fits into Bridges to Health.
Bridges to Health has been absolutely instrumental in the success of our project. They are the ones that not only guided us through the beginning of the project, but also get us in contact with the farm workers themselves.
What are some successes?
We've been able to reach out quite a number of farm workers so far with the help of Bridges to Health who get us in contact with them. It's really been all about the personal connections that we make with the farm workers. That's really what it comes down to. We're making them feel like we're there for them and also giving them information that they can actually use.
The medical students helped develop a bilingual booklet for migrant workers. It provides them with basic healthcare information.
It takes the reader through certain health issues and describes to them what they can do, or it advises them to do certain things. If, say, you have a bellyache and you have no idea where it's coming from, you don't know what to do about it. You read the book, it walks you through sort of what your symptoms are and then what you should do about it. So if for example, you're spitting out blood or it's just a really bad bellyache, then maybe you should go to the hospital. But perhaps it's a little less than that. Maybe it's just a bellyache with nothing else. Then maybe you should treat it on your own or make an appointment at the local clinic. So this is sort of one of the resources that we take to the farm workers, but we don't just want to drop it off. Does that make sense? We don't just want to distribute it. We want to make sure that they're using it correctly and that they know what the limitations and what the purpose of the booklet is.
In addition to the UVM medical students, the UVM graduate nursing program serves as a community partner to the Bridges to Health program.
Health and healthcare, we tend to take for granted. We have certain healthcare beliefs. We go to a healthcare provider easily. This is something.
Carol Buck-Rowland is a professor in the School of Nursing and Health Sciences. She is passionate about incorporating culture with healthcare in her curriculum.
The culture part really becomes important as we look at health and healthcare, to go beyond what we necessarily learn in our courses about Western healthcare, really to look at somebody's culture and how their health care belief system, what their healthcare practices might be, and really incorporating those so that people who have a different culture, and most people do have different cultures, we can be respectful of their practices, their needs, and take that into account when we're delivering healthcare.
Want to do it?
Book Roland's nursing students partake in service learning. They go to Vermont farms and work directly with migrant workers.
To give an example in healthcare, a recent partnership that we developed from our graduate nursing program, and these are students who will become nurse practitioners in primary care. They were approached with our community partner, Bridges to Health, here through UVM, to develop a program and deliver a service for the migrant farm work families who have children in Franklin County, and looking specifically at oral health. So the students did develop a program and then actually went to the farms. They took toothbrushes and dental floss, and also a program to talk with the families and the children about oral health and the importance of that. That went over really well, and so the importance, though, in thinking about service learning is that while that was a service, if you will, for the migrant families, it was a very big learning opportunity for the students to develop that program and actually deliver it, not just learn about it through reading or a video.
What the students learn extends beyond the classroom.
The issues that face them, such as isolation, not getting off the farm, it's something that is really hard for us to imagine experiencing as individuals in Vermont, because we easily move about and do our, go to play groups and go to things with our children and go get groceries, and that isn't the reality there.
For the estimated 1,200 migrant workers in Vermont, life on a dairy farm is filled with isolation and is far from comfortable or convenient. We are left with this final message from Alejandra Velez.
They need our support, they need our help, and it's instrumental that we provide them with this because they are such a big part of our community.
In addition to the partnership between Extension and the College of Medicine, the Bridges to Health program also includes the Open Door Clinic in Addison County and the Bi-State Primary Care Association. The association is a nonprofit that promotes access to health care with a special emphasis on underserved populations in Vermont and New Hampshire. Judy?
Well, Rohana, how did you first learn about or become interested in the issues involving migrant workers in healthcare?
Back when I was a predental student, I was a part of MAPS, which is the Minority Association of Pre-Medical Students. And Alejandra Velez had actually come to our club and talked to us about Healthy Fields and their efforts to bring healthcare access to migrant farm worker populations in Vermont. And I was shocked to hear this. I didn't even know that these communities existed, and neither did my peers. And so when Will asked me if I had any ideas for this episode, that kind of popped up in my head, and I wanted to bring awareness to these communities.
Well, that was a great job. So what are you going to take away from your internship with Across the Fence, do you think?
You know, everything that goes into making and producing an episode, learning the basics of how to mic someone, to really stepping back and looking at the story as a whole. Who are you going to interview? What images are you going to include? How are you going to transition between the different pieces of the story? And the folks at Across the Fence, Will, Becky, and Keith were instrumental in helping and mentoring me through the process.
What was the hardest part for you?
The hardest part was just making sure that I told the story in a fair and unbiased way.
And so do you think that this is something that you might want to do again?
Definitely. I really enjoyed my experience here, and I think I learned a lot, but there's a lot I want to learn as well, and I would love to.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story with us. It was a great job.
Thank you.
For more information on the Bridges to Health program, you can check the UVM Extension website under Agriculture. Click on the link to Farm Worker Resources. You can also call the Extension office in St. Albans. That number is 802-524-6501. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.